so you mentioned that you've been in Korea for 4 years. Can you tell us a little bit about how you first came to Korea? How did you end up in Hwasun?
Well, I went to Brock University to become a teacher, and I knew that I wanted to teach overseas. I wanted to teach English, and I heard from my friends in Teachers College that Korea was a wonderful country and that the people were very friendly, and that made up my mind about coming to Korea and Hwasun, because when I went to my recruiter's office, he asked, do you want to live in a big city or do you want to live in the country? And I said, I don't like big cities. I'd like to live in the country near a big city. And he said, I know just the place. Hwasun is for you. And that's why I ended up in Hwasun.
And so you've been in Hwasun the whole time at the same school? Okay. And you mentioned that you studied teaching at university. So is your degree in elementary education or secondary education?
I'm certified to teach junior intermediate, which in Canada means grade 4 elementary to grade 1 high school here, so grade 9.
Okay. Now, would you consider, you talked about the definitions for introvert versus extrovert. Do you think it's more of a binary distinction, or is this something more of a spectrum?
In my own experience, I found it's definitely a spectrum. It depends on the people that you meet and the situations. When I first came to Korea, I was definitely an introvert. I'm still very introverted, but I have become more of an extrovert. The longer I stay, the more people I meet, the more opportunities there are for getting involved with the community.
Okay, you mentioned that most of the book club you would consider your fellow introverts. Where would you place yourself on the introvert spectrum in relation to your fellow book club members? Are you now more of an extrovert than they are?
Yes.
Okay.
I think whenever you're a leader of something, you must become an extrovert, even if it's not really comfortable. You just sort of have to do it until it becomes comfortable.
Now, moving on to books. As a bibliophile, what are some of your favorite genres of books to read?
Fantasy. Fantasy and historical fiction. I really like King Arthur legends and anything about sort of Britain or Europe during the Middle Ages. Although these days I'm really interested in books about Korea and also sort of the Middle East because of all the current day issues happening there.
So what has been your favorite book or most memorable book that you've read in book club?
Most memorable book. Probably for me it was The Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie, because I was the only person who finished it. Everyone else stopped reading halfway through because it was a very difficult book to read, but as the leader I had to finish it. I was also very interested in it, so it wasn't hard to finish it, but I did feel a little bitter at the end when I got to the last meeting and no one had finished reading it, except me. But I felt proud that I had finished it.
Are there any topics for books that book club says to avoid or just prefers not to discuss?
Generally, our members are very good about suggesting or knowing what books they can and can't suggest. Although we do have sort of this hidden feature during our book selection where anyone who feels uncomfortable with a book or a book topic can veto that book. They can say, no, I don't want to read that, and we won't select it. I had my friend Megan, she would always veto books about Nazi Germany or the Holocaust because it made her very uncomfortable, so we couldn't suggest books on that topic.
And returning momentarily to your personality as a self-identified introvert, what was your experience growing up as an introvert, and how did your parents and teachers handle you as an introvert?
I was kind of on my own a lot. I did a lot of reading. I only had a very small group of friends. My teachers knew that I was very sensitive about group work, and there would be a lot of times when I simply refused to work in a group because I didn't get along with everyone. But yeah, it wasn't too bad.
And would you say that there are any benefits that you've gained from being an introvert?
Yes. I love being alone. Being alone gives me a lot of time for self-reflection and to know who I am and what I'm doing with my life. So I know a lot of foreigners come to Korea and they consider it a pause button. They think this isn't real life. But for me, this is my life. And I love it. And I love being here. And I can't imagine myself anywhere else. And I have a very clear direction for the rest of my life, where I'm going. And so being an introvert has given me the time to really think deeply about those sorts of things. And I'm also a bit of a writer, so being alone gives me enough time to work on my novel. So.
Now, you mentioned that one of your other things that you enjoy is singing. Does performing in front of a crowd and anxiety over performing, does that have any connection for you with your introvertedness?
That is a very interesting thing that I don't understand. I have very high anxiety, and I'm also introverted, so I dislike being in the spotlight, except when I'm singing. If you give me a microphone and a song, I will sing all day. I don't care who's watching. I sing at bus stops, I sing in the middle of the street, I sing at school, and that is not tied into my introvertism. That's the one thing that I'm a total extrovert when it comes to singing.
Oh.
Now, you mentioned that through your singing that one of the experiences you've had is being in a rock band, a Korean rock band. Is that something you're still involved with?
No.
Okay.
No. The rock band was disbanded. One of our members moved to Japan, another member moved to Seoul, so we disbanded. It was very sad.
Moving back to books, what are your thoughts on reading a book, a physical paper book versus a tablet or a smartphone app such as Kindle? What do you think is some of the strong points and weak points of real physical books?
Well, a real physical book looks really good on your bookshelf. And I love collecting books. I love the feel of them. I love the smell of them. I love the weight of them. The covers are so beautiful, and the feel of the pages. But they're very heavy, and they're not all that great when you're traveling a lot. And also, when I do move on from Korea, I have a giant bookshelf full of books that I will have to pay a lot of money to send home, because I can't get rid of them. I love my books.
Now, can you remind us one more time, what's the best way to join the book club?
The best way to join the book club is to join our Facebook group that we have. I post a lot to the regular Gwangju Facebook group as well, so you can find it there. I always post our meeting events in the Gwangju Facebook group as well as in the book club Facebook group. So if you find that and join, you'll know all about our events.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. If your question wasn't asked today, please feel free to ask the speaker directly after the talk finishes. But there were many questions. It was clearly a topic that generated a lot of interest. So for our final question, you mentioned one of the activities, how you start things off in the book club, is an icebreaker question, and you included the example icebreaker question of what is your favorite winter drink? So would you like to tell us now, what is your favorite winter drink?
My favorite winter drink is the simple chai latte.
Okay,
I love chai lattes.
sounds great.
From Drop Chai latte.
Chai latte.
Okay, well, thank you for answering our questions. Let's give her another round of applause for answering.